part 2 to the last reading because it got cut off. So back to this son, okay, this disobedient son. He needs a prominent male figure in his life. If his father's not around, he needs an uncle. He needs a mentor. They have programs where they can find mentors for your sons, okay? This could even be a good friend of yours, you know, that you've known for a long time. Don't bring them around men that you wouldn't want them to be like, okay? So be wise and find someone that can help your son. Sometimes parents have to put their pride to the side and really ask themselves, can I provide something for my child? Because if I can't, then now I have to make it my business to go out there and find somebody that can. Okay? And say their father is in their life, but their father is not the best father. Still, find somebody that's prominent in their in your life that you know or someone that is, you know, of affluence, you know, that could help your child. Maybe their coach can talk to them if they're into sports. Maybe there's a teacher that they're very fond of that's a male that can help them. Maybe they need to go to a counselor, but there's other ways of helping this child, okay? Or this teenager here. And you got to remember, their hormones are all over the place too, but that is no excuse. For others of you, you may want to teach them how to make a resume. They may not have a lot of job history, but you can put down the things that they've done for you at home. They could be good at organizing. They, you know, put down the extracurricular activities that they do on their resume. You get what I'm saying? If they take out their trash, whatever it is that they've helped you around the house with, put that on their resume. Help them. Sometimes parents like to just tell kids what to do, but never want to show them. Sometimes you got to sit there and show these kids. You sit there and tell them, save your money, save your money. Are you saving your money? Because you got to also check yourself too. Because if you got bad spending habits, what you think your kid going to have? Because they following suit with you. So when you're telling your kids something, make sure you doing it too. Because that's the only way they're going to listen. Because if they see you doing the opposite of what you're telling them, they are not listening to you. And I learned that lesson as a caregiver years ago when I had a baby at my daycare and she would never want to wear slippers. She always wanted to run around the house barefoot. And I had I had my daycare in my home and I had it matted out. So even if she was barefoot, it was okay. But still, there were kids that walked around with their shoes on, you know? And it's like, listen, I don't want your toe to get stubbed. I don't want you to break a toenail type of energy. That's a liability for me, you know? And one day I said, listen, baby, can you please put your socks on, your shoes on, even your slippers, something? And you know what they turned around and said? But Miss K, you're barefoot. I had to check myself. I said, you know what, baby? You are absolutely right. Go get Miss K's slippers. Because I forgot to put mine on too. And when I put my slippers on, did I have to repeat myself? Did I have to tell her to put her shoes back on? No, because after she got my slippers, she went and put hers on too. And as long as I had my slippers on, I didn't have no problems out of her not having her slippers on. Because guess what? They're following you as the adult. You're the example. So remember, check yourself before you sit there and check your kids. And I understand, oh, but I'm the parent. No, listen, that's just how kids are. That's how they learn. They learn from home first. Then they learn from everybody else. This is why you have to be the example. And if you can't be the example, you find another example. It's just that simple. Okay? For others of you, if this is an immature male, you already know what to do with this person. You already know what you need to do with that person, but we're not here for them. We're here for you. Okay? They got to learn that on their own. Now, if you want to keep putting up with their nonsense, then that's on you. But guess what? There's consequences behind that. Some of you, there's ancestral healing that is needed. So when I sat there and spoke about the parenting and stuff like that, that comes from bad parenting. 444 on my time, as I said, that your parents probably taught you is my way or the highway. You listen to what I say, not as I do type of energy. You got to change that. You got to change that because you got to look at how you were raised and how you turned out. And if you want your kids to turn out like that, well, guess what? Continue doing what you're doing. But if you want different for them, you got to be a difference. Some of your ancestors kept dealing with dudes that ain't never had nothing. They didn't have no ambition. You got to leave them alone. We have 3 weeks from now is a prominent time for you guys. Okay? It says pay attention to the signs. B-I-T-C-H. Okay? Pay attention to the signs. All right? Because your ancestors been trying to show you. Some of you need to get a personal reading from a trusted reader. Okay? I haven't opened up my books just yet. But I'm going to get confirmation from Spirit when it's time for me to open up my books. Until then, you're going to keep getting these free readings from me. All right? And a month from now is on the bottom of this deck. So you may run into somebody. Okay? You may want to. I'm seeing somebody going past a gym. Or you may get a flyer. You know how they be, you going into a restaurant. I'm seeing somebody going into a restaurant. You know how they have like the little flyers up, you know, helping promote other people's businesses. If there's something for like boxing or anything your kid may be interested in, if you want to teach them discipline and stuff like that, you may want to put them in like Taekwondo or some type of martial arts or something like that, or kickboxing, you know, because when you, sports period, you have to have discipline when you're in sports. You know, you may have to put your kid in something that is going to teach them discipline. So maybe you may not be able to provide that discipline for them, but that coach can. Okay. What else was it that I had just seen? And I forgot because my mind be racing and I just be seeing so much. But it's like, because I'm going back to the pay attention to the signs. It could be a billboard I'm seeing. You drive past it every day and didn't even realize, like, you've been asking Spirit, like, how can I deal with this boy? How can I sit there and help them, da-da-da-da. And it's like there's something that you keep seeing, but you keep ignoring it. And it's like Spirit's like, pay attention. Okay, pay attention. It could be in a show. It could be in a movie. It could be in a song. Okay, but you have to pay attention because the signs are always there. They're always there. Okay, and sometimes you also have to speak life into your kids. You keep telling them, oh, they're this, they're that, they're bad, you're this, you're disrespect. All that's all they're hearing in their head, that this is who they are. And guess what? If you keep telling them that's who they are, they say, well, look, guess what? I might as well be it if I'm going to sit there and keep being called it. One thing I never did was sit there and tell any of my daycare babies that they were bad. Even when they did something that I may have felt was disrespectful or inappropriate, in their mind, they didn't think it. But I had to communicate with them and explain to them, listen, this was not appropriate. This is why it wasn't appropriate. Why did you think it was appropriate to do? You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like, talk, communicate. And then especially when you have a teenager, you're running on what's it called? Limited time with them, because the clock be ticking for the streets to have them. And you got to build a bond where these kids can trust you and come to you and talk to you, because if not, they're going to go find that in the streets. When it comes to talking about the birds and the bees and stuff like that, you have to sit there and have these conversations with them. And you can't be afraid to have these conversations with them. Yeah, they may feel, oh, mom, don't be... Still have the conversations with them. Because you want to know what's going on in your kid's life. You want to be able to teach them, listen. You know, and if you have a boy that you can't really connect with and teach them about those things, find a male that can. Teach them about STDs. Because the school going to teach them briefly about that in sex ed, if they even have that in school anymore. But you got to do your job. Get on your Zoom when it comes to these kids. Be the example. Don't be having men come in and out of your house if you're a single mother. Don't do that. Because guess what? That's teaching your son that they could go in and out of other females' houses just the way you just had them. And he's going to lose respect for you and not have no respect for these girls out here in these streets. Same thing if you're a single father. Don't be having all these women in and out of your crib. Know that when you bring a woman home, it's because you're serious about her. Because these kids is watching y'all, teenagers is watching y'all like white on rice. Be the great example that they need.